We've seen a lot of Assassin's Creed now, but every single year Ubisoft seems to bring out another one that's even bigger and better. I've got Alex here to tell me all about what makes Assassin's Creed Unity even better.
Well, first of all, this is the first truly next-generation title. So we designed it from the ground up to be completely next-gen. Largest city we've ever done. If you take all of the landmass from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and clump it together, it's about half the size of Paris. It is the first co-op iteration in the series, so for the first time we have, a cooperative play, up to 4 players. And it's also the first full-size in terms of scale, right? So if you look at Notre Dame, it's actually the real size. Before, we had about a third scale, so if you looked at the Colosseum in Brotherhood, for example, it was about a third scale.
Now, the multiplayer is what everyone's talking about. Is it during the main storyline that people can kind of jump in and help you out in the missions?
No, there's actually different, everything is seamless, everything is in Paris, and it's all part of your character's progression, right? Arnaud's progression. However, you have some missions that are solo, it's part of the Arnaud's main storyline. You have a lot of different quests that you can do in Paris that you can, do at your will. And then you have what we call Brotherhood missions. These missions are missions that Arnaud performed with other assassins. He sort of did this for the Assassin's Council, and these are the missions that you can play cooperatively.
Now there's the Brotherhood. Are we ever going to see the Sisterhood?
Maybe, who knows?
I'm not seeing you write it down. It's a very good point that I made. You should write.
Yeah,
Sisterhood.
Sisterhood. Let me.
That's better. Yeah. Oh, phone, of course. Technology these days, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks so much for telling us about the game. When can we play it?
October 28th.
Woohoo! Soon. Thank you.
You and I are gonna tear shit up! Should I stay or should I go?
If the idea of being abandoned on an island or in a remote location where you know no one and everyone's trying to kill you, then Far Cry is definitely the game for you. This time around, we're in a fictional place in the Himalayas for Far Cry 4. Tell us about the game.
Yeah, so the game is, like I said, it's a fictional place in the Himalayas. It's a small country called Kirat. And again, in the tradition of Far Cry, it's a beautiful open world that is...
trying to kill you.
Well, it's almost siren-like. It's beautiful. It invites you to come in and explore, but it's a dangerous and savage place, humans and animals.
So last time, it was the tigers trying to kill you. This time we've got elephants, and everyone's loving the sound of that. That was like the #1 reaction from the conference.
Yeah, I mean, we came with co-op as the big new feature, and we were like, yeah, everyone's going to love co-op, and then everyone gets on the back of an elephant, and it's like co-op didn't even happen.
And everyone's like, you know what? If the elephants are great, but if you hurt them, and if an elephant dies, we will revolt.
Yes, I mean, the elephants will. They prioritize the enemies, but if you antagonize them, they'll come after you as well.
I saw one ram a jeep, and then it blew up.
Yeah, I mean, they're like living tanks almost.
That's true. One of the big standouts as well from the conference, you announced that the co-op, you could just button in and help out a friend playing Far Cry 4, even if you don't own the game.
Yes, but that's on PSN. So if you buy the game on PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4, you can invite any of your friends on PSN to come and join your game, and they don't have to buy it first.
That's ridiculous. So if you're like, hey, I know you don't have the game, I do, but I need a bit of a hand, can you jump on and help me? They can. Yeah,
I mean, the whole idea, on the team we don't even call it co-op, we call it guns for hire, and because the philosophy really is that the open world of Far Cry is a lot of fun. Taking outposts, exploring for treasure, hunting animals, that's all a lot of fun. And we just thought, wouldn't that be more fun with a friend? And so you press a button, you can call in one of your buddies, and they can jump in and explore. And you'll keep all of the progression and experience that you earn, any skills you get, any outposts that you capture, any towers that you liberate. All of that progression will be kept in your game when your friend leaves.
Fantastic. When can we play this game?
It's going to be out November 18th this year on PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and on PC.
Oh yeah, no excuse not to play it, really.
Yeah.
All right, I got the window. Go!
Rainbow Six, it may sound like the next sort of kids' rainbow-filled cupcake little game, but it's nothing like that at all. To tell us what Rainbow Six is really about, I've got Jerome here. Hey, what is it?
Hi, well, Rainbow Six is a first-person tactical shooter, so it's basically, it explores the world of counter-terrorist units, and it's a pretty realistic game. What we're bringing to Rainbow Six Siege is an incredible amount of destruction as well, so if you play inside a house like we're showing at E3 this year, the house at the end of the gunfight is essentially destroyed. You have holes in every walls and floors and ceilings and dust everywhere, so it's a pretty, I wouldn't say brutal game, but it's fast-paced, it's very
strategic and tactical.
Tactical first-person shooter, so of course it is a really tactical game. People have to work together and make sure that they have a good teamwork to succeed.
There's, with the advancement of technology, we've got some fun new toys that we can use in these tactical assists. What are some of those?
Well, in game, what we have essentially are two teams, and they have very different roles. So on the defender side, they have everything they need to fortify their environment and make sure that the whole environment is very solid. They're building a stronghold. So they have ways to barricade windows. They can reinforce walls. They can even put traps like barbed wires and explosives that when somebody passes through, it's going to explode. And all of these have an effect on the destruction as well in the environment. On the attacking side, they have the kind of the opposite tools. They have ways to explore and to observe. They're going to be using that to find the weakest points and find where they can put a breach. And then they have like explosives that they could put on walls, and when they trigger it, it just blows the wall up. And since we have a procedural destruction engine, what that means essentially is that anywhere you decide to shoot or to put an explosive, this is where the world is going to be destroyed, and it's going to be destroyed realistically. So if you have wooden beams inside the wall, then the wood is going to be splinters everywhere, dust, and it's very realistic, and it's awesomely fun to blow stuff up.
So basically it's about teamwork.
Teamwork, a lot of teamwork and a lot of tactics, but all of this is very easy to grab. We have people in the booth right now that are from the crowd, and they're just playing and having fun, and it's really easy to take, but it takes a long time to master it, so I think we have a good depth in the game as well. It's fun.
When can we play it?
2015 on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Fantastic. If you're all about social racing, then this is a game for you. The Crew was announced last year, and I got to get hands-on with the game, and I'll tell you what, this is a lot of fun. Tell us about The Crew.
So The Crew, in a nutshell, is an MMO racing game that features the entire USA. So it's a pretty big game.
Hold on, you say the entire USA, so you can drive throughout the entire country.
Absolutely, with no loadings. So the trailer that we showed this year at E3 was actually just a time lapse of a crew of 4 people driving together from Miami to Los Angeles, and they stopping at New York, driving through the Rockies, Las Vegas, that type of thing. And it took us 2.5 hours to gather footage, and we condensed that into a 1.5-minute trailer. But that's really part of the Crew experience, if you will.
So while we're on the road, are we seeing a lot of races against other people, like the MMO experience? How do we get to interact with other players?
So the whole game was built on this social layer. So you could be driving down the street in New York and crossing other cars, and those cars, they could be AI, but they could also be other drivers. And if you want to interact with them, it's 2 button clicks, and you either invited them into your crew, or they're going to become one of your rivals.
So say they become a rival, are you screwed?
Not at all. I mean, that's where the fun of racing comes into. I mean, a racing game has to be about competition as well. So one of the things that we're showing today with the 2 big motion rigs is this head-to-head crew versus crew experience. And that's, you know, we've got 70 races like that really take advantage of all of the diversity of the states. So we're racing in snow-capped mountains, through the bayou in New Orleans, through the city streets of Los Angeles, different types of experiences like that. So it's a very varied experience too.
When I got hands-on with the game last year, I noticed it was a very different feel to a lot of the racing games that I've been a part of. What are the key things that you were trying to make different, say, to the other racing games on the market?
You know, apart from the fact that we've got an entire country that you can explore,
country, the whole thing,
and that we're sharing it with all the other players in the world, apart from those 2 little things, we've got an approach to our vehicles that's very different. So we've got a lot of vehicles that you can customize, buy kits for that completely transform the gameplay experience. So you'll start off with a street racing vehicle, let's say a Camaro, and you can take that Camaro and completely blow it out to an off-road dirt racing vehicle, which is more of a rally feel. And if you want to push it even further, you can even make that into a race car, a circuit race car. And we've got 5 or 6 different circuits in the world.
So basically, if you love being in a car and driving around, this is the perfect game for you.
That's what I think.
When can we play the game?
So it's coming out in November 11th on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But you can play it earlier if you register on thecrewgame.com. And you can register today, and that beta is available July 23rd.
So you can get hands on the game before you even buy it, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
We first saw The Division last year at E3. Now we've got the trailer. We know what the game is all about, and everyone's excited about it. Tell us about Tom Clancy's The Division.
All right. Well, Tom Clancy's The Division is an open-world online action RPG that's set in New York City in a mid-crisis scenario. So, a Deadly Virus was released on Black Friday, the biggest shopping day in the States. Yes.
Sucks.
Super, pumped. And we're kind of just on the cusp of when things are going to completely fall apart. Directive 51 is invoked. This is very U.S. military, and that activates the Division agents. So when you start the game as a player, you're coming into this New York in chaos.
So when I saw the trailer, there was 4 people kind of on comms, like strategically planning out their assaults. Is that what you're kind of trying to do? It's a multiplayer experience?
Yeah, I think one of the Clancy pillars is tactical group play. So it's really important to us to have a role in a group for the game and to make sure that those roles also work off of each other. So you can have an aggressive player like we were talking about, more support roles, really distance roles that are scouting enemies, so it works together as a group.
Did I see that someone can jump in and not actually play on a console, but on a tablet device?
Absolutely. So that's our third screen solution for the game, and it works on all major operating systems for the tablets, but it's real-time simultaneous gameplay with the main client. So you and I can be playing, and we use skills. We get scouted with the drone. They can mark targets, drive enemies out of areas, find resources and loot for the main group. So we're really proud of it. I think we're kind of pushing what's possible on this generation.
When can we play it, and on what?
We can play it in 2015 on PC, Xbox One, and PS4.
So new gen only.
New gen only.
Which means it's going to look pretty spectacular.
It's going to look gorgeous.
That's what I like to hear, gorgeous.